Hi, I'm Keith Hernandez of Hernandez Sculpture Effects, and welcome to my first cast and chat. Now, this is my first one, so quality is work in progress, okay? I'm learning the camera, it's a new camera, lighting, all that fun stuff. So the intro is probably a little bit better than the actual cast and chat because I learned some new settings on the camera. But you know, one of the things about me as an artist is I am self-taught on every aspect of everything. So much like doing these videos, I am learning as I go. So everything should get better as I keep doing this, which I plan to do no matter what. But in this video we'll be casting the Adams cowl. This is the first time I'll be casting it, and it is one of my new favorites. I always get a new favorite sculpture when I make a new sculpture based off of two-dimensional artwork. One of the fun challenges of taking two-dimensional art and turning it into three-dimensional art is trying to make it feel and look like what it's representing. And I think I did a fair job at representing Neal Adams' classic art style. This video isn't a tutorial, so it's not really going to walk you through step by step. You will see most of the steps and processes as I basically cast the cowl uninterrupted, but it won't really explain everything going on. At the end of the video, I will be telling you how you can take this cowl home. I'm going to give it away to one of you, the viewers on this video. So it is a opportunity for you to get a mask and an opportunity for me to say thanks for watching. So without further ado, let's start casting and chatting. This is, like I said, the first time we'll be casting this guy. Brand new mold, so it's still pretty clean. And you know, this video is meant to just cast and chat and all that fun stuff. But if you're looking for a more in-depth rundown, kind of like a step-by-step on my casting technique, let me know in the comments. Enough people requested, I'll definitely cook up a video that goes over the steps a little bit more thoroughly. But just the rundown for the average cast of this size, I kind of run the same formula. This is a 24-inch size cowl, and for that I usually do a total of 480 grams of part A and part B of Vitaflex 40. That's my go-to urethane rubber. And I do it in 3 steps. I break it down and I do step 1 and 2 simultaneously. I'll mix them together, work one at a time, let that kind of sit for a little bit, and then I'll move on to the third batch. That's kind of been my go-to number, 480 grams. It generally gets the thickness that I like for myself if I'm wearing a mask. And it's not too thick, it's not too thin, it's like that perfect spot. So everything's been pre-mixed. Again, if that is something that you guys are interested in seeing, let me know, and I can cook that up. But we're going to do a pre-mixture of the first 2, and then we'll just chat while we do it. So, and really what I was hoping to talk about is what's been on my mind lately, and this whole Netflix and Warner Brothers stuff going down. You know, this is the mid part of January, and Netflix is in the process, I guess, of buying out Warner Brothers. And whether you like that or not, it's kind of the direction it's heading into. But it's been this kind of like studio love triangle, because Paramount's, you know, in the corner over there trying to weasel their way into the Warner Brothers movie lot. And this has been the peak of my interest lately, because it's been kind of a comical month and a half, I suppose. You know, I think the initial bid for Netflix came in like early December, and Paramount has been, they've done it twice now. They come up with 2 bids. One was a regular bid, and then the other was a hostile bid, which I guess more aggressive. But it's been funny because Paramount's at this position where they're kind of like the spoiled rich kid who isn't getting their way, and they're suing Warner Brothers. And this is the part that really confuses me. I don't quite understand how you can sue somebody because they don't want to sell to you. But whatever the lawsuit is, it allows them to dive deeper into whatever the Netflix offer is, and that's the purpose of the lawsuit, is to kind of open up the documents, I guess, and peer inside whatever the deal is. But they just recently revised the deal. You know, before Netflix was offering stock and cash, and now they're just offering all cash, which I don't know, in the world of business, I know that's not my specialty, but I would have thought that having some Netflix stock would be pretty good. Because I didn't know this, and maybe you did, but Netflix is worth a lot of money. For a studio, a movie studio, I guess they're considered a movie studio now, not just a streaming platform, but they don't have a lot of IPs. And one of the interesting things that I found out about Netflix is they're worth more than Disney. Disney owns all these IPs. You know, they have all of Marvel, almost all of Marvel, I should say. They have Marvel, they have Star Wars, they have Alien, Predator. I mean, they have, you know, their own Mickey Mouse, all that. So it's crazy to see that they're not worth as much as Netflix. Netflix is like $400 billion in worth, and which is crazy, because if you're like in Warner Brothers position, I would think that you want to go with the company that is worth more. But you know, with Warner Brothers, their decision is easy, because either way they're selling, so they're gonna make it out in some form or fashion ahead than they were in previous positions, because you know, it's Warner Brothers. They've really not done a whole lot of impressive stuff lately, in my opinion. But I guess the main argument that everyone's having is, you know, Netflix is going to destroy the movie-going experience, the theatrical release of movies. And I don't know about you guys, but I just went to a movie with my family, I don't know, I guess it was almost a month ago, and it cost $80 before snacks, popcorn even. That to me is crazy. $80 for 4 people to go see a movie. I think the movie-going experience is dying on its own. It's not Netflix's fault. You know, I think when COVID happened and the whole, you know, lockdown mentality, I think that killed a lot of the movie-going experience. People got comfortable just sitting on the couch and watching the new release movie, and not having to pay a grand sum just to go see with your family. Because if you look at it now and you weigh into the options of going to the movies, you know, if it's a $20 ticket per person, we went in the matinee. I mean, it was pretty expensive. It was a 3D movie, so that did bring the price up even more. But I could imagine if we went at an 8 o'clock movie, what that ticket price would have been. But 4 people, $80. You rent it at home. Yeah, it's like $20 to rent a movie. I mean, I think a lot of people are a little bit more cautious when they go to the movies, because, again, you know, going to the movies, you don't know necessarily the experience. Movies recently haven't been all that great. I mean, the ones that I've seen anyways. The last 3 movies that I saw was Fantastic Four and Superman and Avatar. And I enjoyed those movies, seeing them on the big screen, because I'm a movie-going kind of guy, so seeing them on the big screen is pretty big deal for me. But my kids, my daughter loved Fantastic Four, and everyone else, they were like, okay, yeah, sure. But could we have saved some money? I don't know. I think I could have done without seeing Fantastic Four. I'm a huge Superman fan, so I had to go see it. But at the same time, I'm like, it wasn't all that impressive. So I guess I could have just waited. Superman had a quick turnaround time, though. And that's the thing that Netflix is like, we will still release Warner Brother movies. Just the window will be smaller. Superman had the smallest window in terms of movie releasing onto streaming, or when I say streaming, rental, and that turnaround was like 30 days, and then it was pretty quick after that where it popped up, I think, on like HBO Max. And I think the reason is that even the studios now, the window of being in the theater is so much narrower now. You can't sit a movie in the theaters for 30 days. It's just not feasible anymore. And I think that kind of helps Warner Brothers' decision into going into Netflix. Because Paramount, Paramount's kind of like an odd child. They have their Star Trek, and they have... what else do they have? I don't even really know. And they have their deal is really, really weird. I think Saudi Arabian government has money invested. I mean, I guess in terms of like bringing the movie industry back, Paramount doesn't seem like they're offering a lot on the table. Netflix, they're building a gigantic studio in what, New Jersey? I mean, if you're looking at a perspective of like growing the industry, that's where Netflix is. They're growing the industry, and they need IPs just as bad, I guess, as Paramount, because what does Netflix have? They have Stranger Things. If we have time, we can talk about that, but other than that, they have their own kind of like custom IPs that aren't like huge. So in the scheme of things, is Netflix a bad deal? I know a lot of people are worried that Netflix will raise their prices, and they already raised their prices. They're going to continue raising their prices. I don't think that owning Warner Brothers is going to raise their prices. They're just going to raise their prices no matter what. That's just what that's what that industry does. The whole cable market field and advertisement field and such is not streaming in revenue anymore, so they've got to go and pull that revenue from the user base that is bringing in revenue. So I don't think you're gonna get away from price increasing, but maybe they are. I think though, if you look at if you weigh in all the pros and cons, Netflix could do something unique if you're... Okay, so this is just rumors, okay? Zack Snyder, I know, you either love it or you hate it. But rumors start flying as soon as they heard Netflix buying Warner Brothers. And one of the, I think, and then I think Zack plays into that too, because there was a post a couple of days ago. I don't know, it was like a bunch of pottery in the back. Obviously placed there was a Dark Knight Returns trade paperback, and the big rumor is, Zack Snyder's gonna adapt Dark Knight Returns for Netflix. I know Zack Snyder is a sensitive subject for some people. I've got friends that they're obsessed with Zack, but two of my favorite comic adaptations came from Zack Snyder. The whole reason why I was excited at first for Zack taking over Superman was 300, which was almost a perfect one-to-one transfer of the trade paperback, and Watchmen. Watchmen wasn't a one-to-one because they had some changes in the ending, but it was still a really solid, I thought, adaptation. So if there's anyone adaptating any kind of comic book 1-to-1, Zack's your guy. And if he were to do a Dark Knight Returns, I would be 100% all for that, because I think that would blow everyone's mind if they're a big Dark Knight Returns fan. And Ben Affleck, I think, embodied Batman so perfectly in the few minutes we had with him. So if they brought him back too, that would be worthy of Netflix buying Warner Brothers in itself, in my opinion. Let me know what you think, because I could be out of my mind. But it's a rumor. And you know how rumors are. Most of the time, it's just the internet making up a bunch of crap. And who knows? Which kind of leads into the Stranger Things thing. The internet making up stuff. I just have to talk about it. I know Stranger Things is old news, but it's still funny to think that people were so dissatisfied with that 5th season that the only rationale that they could come up with is that there's another episode and we are being Vecna'd. I am a huge Stranger Things fan. I'm a product of the 80s, grew up in the 80s. When Stranger Things came out, I felt at home. I mean, I loved that show. And I was one of the disappointed people with season 5. I mean, it was a slow season. It was the first time I skipped parts because they were dragging on too much. And I think that the people making up all this Stranger Things secret episode, Conformity Gate, all that, I think is because of that. We were let down, and we shouldn't have been. You know, the biggest argument has been, what have the Duffer Brothers been doing with all of this time? I think there was about, from what I've read online, about 2 years between the end of Stranger Things 4 and the beginning of the production for Stranger Things season 5. And when you watch this documentary that came out last week, they talk about going into filming without finishing the season finale or the series finale. And that just blows my mind, because it's like, then where are you going? How do you start something without a clear path? And I think the downfall with Stranger Things, in my opinion, is that they did not have a scope of where the show was going. I think the Duffer Brothers, they got lucky. They had an idea, a great idea. They pitched their idea across all the studios. Netflix bought into that idea. But the idea didn't have a finished plan. And they went season by season, which isn't abnormal. I think it happens in a lot of shows. And I think in a lot of shows that you see it, you notice it. You know, it's when 2 seasons don't really feel the same, because they are starting from scratch essentially after every season. And that's kind of where Netflix Stranger Things, the Duffer Brothers, that's kind of where they kind of fell apart, I think, is that they got lucky, and then that luck ran out. Because if you look at Stranger Things 1, Season 1, Season 2, I think it's like a year and a half, 18 months between the release dates. So they definitely had something fresh on their mind, because they were able to get it written and get it filmed and move on to the 3rd season, which is about 2 years apart. So the window starts to expand. I know COVID affected season 4, and the whole writer's strike affected season 5. And I think that's one of the reasons why season 4 was very strong, because they had a kind of a gap to kind of refine and fine tune and whatnot. But it feels like when season 4 ended and season 5 was slowed down, they didn't refine anything. I don't know how that whole strike business works, but I know that if it's my baby and I've written a story, I'm not going to stop writing it. I think if you look at season 4 and why season 5 is so poorly received is because season 4 was so damn good. You know, they created on the fly this new villain, Vecna, who wasn't originally thought of in the first 3 seasons, and they created such a great villain that they had no foundation for him, and then they tried to put a foundation for him, and because of that they started to lose that steam. And then people come up with Conformity Gate, and I'll tell you what, you know, with Conformity Gate is a great idea. Blow everyone out of the water. Hey guys, we've got a secret episode. But let me tell you about Hollywood. Hollywood does not like to surprise you in that way. And what I mean by that is, if they're going to make a show, an episode, they're going to want as many people as they can possibly have watch it day of. Because those are the numbers. And the numbers mean money to them. And so if they created a secret episode and then not tell anybody, no one's going to watch it right off the bat. You're going to have to wait for word of mouth. And word of mouth takes time sometimes. So with the whole Conformity Gate thing, you get to that point where if Hollywood did something that clever, it would be, one, amazing, and two, it would go so against what Hollywood is known for. Look at Avengers Doomsday. You know, all those trailers that came out the last 4 weeks or so, revealing aspects of what's to be coming. And one of the things that they reveal is Steve Rogers' return. I don't know about you, if you're a big Avengers kind of guy, Marvel guy, but if I were sitting in that movie theater watching Avengers Doomsday, and all of a sudden Steve Rogers showed up, I would lose my freaking mind. I would be throwing my popcorn, yelling, hooting and hollering. I would be blown away. That would be a surprise that would just bring people back to the theater. Running. You know, Marvel fans have lost a lot of hope for the whole cinematic universe because they've really slowed down a lot in terms of quality. That right there, I think, would have changed people's perspectives. But again, that's not how Hollywood works. Hollywood works on the fact that we're going to tell you and show you some of the best things so you want to be there day one. So the whole idea of a Conformity Gate is the complete opposite of that. You might have in there great moments. Think of like Infinity War or Endgame, and you know, Captain America grabbing Thor's hammer. That was a moment. You were like, yeah! Or when he says, you know, Avengers Assemble. Yeah! Those are the moments that they rely on. Because they know that those moments, they're not going to bring you into the theater. Knowing Steve Rogers is in Doomsday, that's going to bring some of the old fans back. Because that's what Doomsday is. It's their kind of like Hail Mary into getting people back into the movies and watching and hopefully break the billion. Because I can't even, maybe, was it Spider-Man? No Way Home? Was that the last time a Marvel movie broke $1 billion? They're struggling because the content that they built, the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, has been almost wiped clean. There's all the main characters they got rid of, and now they're bringing them back. But I think the whole goal is after Secret Wars, I guess, is a clean reset, like a soft reset, so that they can try to get these golden characters back on the screen. You know, the last Captain America movie was, and it's not because Sam is Captain America. It's there's nothing good written for Sam. I mean, Captain America's 3 solo movies were First Avenger, you know, origin story, it's a good start. Winter Soldier, great villain, and then Civil War. When they got to Sam's story, in his version of Captain America, who was the villain? I don't even remember. The movie was so badly written. And I know that it went through some reshoots because it was having such a hard time. And what gets me on all of this is these comic movies, they have cheats. They have the books. They just need to rely on those. If they would pull from their own stories, you would have, I think, a better turnout. But in retrospective, Hollywood, again, doesn't necessarily like to do that because they like to be able to say, I made that. That's my idea. I don't know. What do you think? Can Hollywood sell something without telling us what it is? I guess that's also probably a debate on itself. But I would like for them to do something more unique. Hollywood has lost its uniqueness in the content that it puts out and the way that it puts it out. They're still kind of working with old tools in a way different kind of way of consuming things. So Netflix, Stranger Things, Marvel, everybody, it's kind of all lost in a plane of what to do that's going to be better, be different. I don't know, that's the end of my rant, really. I just want to be entertained, and I want it to be good. Most of the stuff that I watch now is not based on IP anymore. It's based on, I watch the show From. It's not the greatest show in the world, but it's different. It's somewhat unique, and it holds my attention. The Landman show, me and my wife have been watching that recently, and that's been engaging. Although if I sit there and I think about what I'm watching, it's like there's really not a whole lot here in terms of like action, and it's just, it feels real, and I think that is entertaining. But I don't know, what are you guys watching that is substituting the loss of good quality in the movies? I would like to, I know I want to pick up and watch, when I pick up, stream the It Drury Lane show. I hear great things about that. That I don't think is based on a story. It could be. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I know it's just kind of like an origin story for Pennywise, which I think in itself is mildly entertaining. So, I don't know. I don't know about the future of Netflix and Warner Brothers. I know the future of Stranger Things, that's over. For now. I mean, when you look at the Duffer Brothers and you look at what they've done for the past 10 years, it's just been Stranger Things. So, is that their run? Are they done? Or do they have something else that they can offer? Stranger Things Season 5 may have hurt their Their credibility, I don't know. And then we've got what Marvel's cooking. Doomsday. Will it break $1 billion? Let's see what Spider-Man does, because that comes out first. And I tell you what, if Spider-Man doesn't break $1 billion, Doomsday isn't going to break $1 billion. I think it's not superhero fatigue. It's quality of writing. Hopefully they get better. Alright, like I said, I'm giving this cowl away, and all you need to do is make sure that you have subscribed to this channel, liked this video, and commented down below, and that will automatically enter you in a chance to take this cowl home. Now, I will be announcing the winner on Instagram, so make sure you're liking and following over there so you don't miss that. And I'll announce the winner 2 weeks from when this video posted, so it gives this channel a little time to grow just a little bit. But if not, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed what's to come on future Cast and Chats. But until then, we'll cast you later.